Did it work? Yeah. Okay, Kaya, you're up.
Okay. Hi, my name is Kaya Kangas, and I did Westcott, South Korea for my project. So what exactly is Westcott? Westcott is a concept proposal that was where California Adventure stands today, which is in Anaheim, California. And it's similar to Epcot, which is in Disney World in Orlando, Florida. And Future World is an example of this, which focuses on technology and human growth. So my country of interest was South Korea. And my interest in this particular country was because of the music, mainly, because I really like the music of South Korea. Language, I studied basic Korean last year for my genius hour. My heritage, my mom is South Korean, and I am half South Korean. And the culture, I'm like really into the South Korean culture as well. And the population there is 51.64 million, and the major languages are of course South Korean. And the major religions are Protestant, Buddhist are the main ones, and then the Catholic and other are a little low ranked, and most people are usually non-religious. Creating a pavilion. So I had to design my pavilion, and I wanted it to be based on a story, and I wanted to be based on like a calming place for exploring nature and also experiencing many different cultural aspects of South Korea. And the pavilion would be held on top of a mountain, and I wanted that to kind of set the scene for how I want people to feel there. And then examples of signage in my pavilion are on the top picture, and then on the bottom picture you can see the layout of my entire pavilion. So for architecture and landscape, I wanted to have a lot of traditional South Korean architecture there. That's like very brightly colored, and it's a historical kind of figure that I wanted to have like that kind of historical part in my pavilion. And nature, I wanted to have a lot of shrubs, cherry blossoms, rivers, and animals. For the sound design, I wanted the outside sounds to be more calm, peaceful waterfall noises. And then in the shops, I wanted to have happily bubbly music because I wanted that to more like set the scene for, again, how I want the viewers to feel. For creating a menu, I wanted to have, so an appetizer would be kimchi, and kimchi is basically pickled cabbage, I believe. Main entree would be bulgogi with white sticky rice, and bulgogi is a steak. Dessert would be bungoppyeong, which is a fish-shaped bread which either has red bean paste or ice cream. And then beverages would be soju, green tea, and bokbomjeju, which is a raspberry wine. So this is my mood board, and I wanted the theme to be primarily based on feelings, and the nature would be a very big aspect of my pavilion as well. And I wanted also the theme to be more based on cultural recognition, and I really wanted people to recognize, South Korea for being very historical and a very happy place for nature and stuff. Designing an attraction. So I had to create a dark ride, and a dark ride is essentially an indoor amusement ride that has a story, and it uses various scenes within a show building. And Disney has made several notable dark rides since Disneyland opened in 1955. Including Pirates of the Caribbean, Indiana Jones Adventure, and Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. So my dark ride would have is going to be based on these characters called BT-21, and it's a popular animated characters in South Korea, and I wanted it to be based on a friendship story for small children to enjoy, and it would have the theme of growth, maturity, and forgiveness. So this is my storyboard, and my storyboard I had to kind of narrow down because these are all the scenes of what I wanted to happen in my ride, and I narrowed it down to 8 scenes in the end, and we got a lot of class feedback, and we shared our ideas with the class, and we either got approved or we had to fix some things. So this is my ride, my water boat, and that was the ride system that I had, and it had a 12-person capacity, and I wanted it to have very calming sounds of the water and smooth traveling. And I wanted that to kind of make the viewers more relaxed as the story is presented to them. So this is my ride layout, and I wanted the ride duration to be 2 minutes and 18 seconds, the ride capacity 2,880 per hour, and 8 scenes total. So this is what my scale model ended up looking like. And in the bottom left, you can see a picture of the start of the ride, and then in the one above that, the picture above that, you can see this major scene where basically the yellow one's Chimmy and then the pink one is called Cookie. And Chimmy says something mean to Cookie accidentally, and then Cookie gets sad, so he runs away. And then all the members are like, "Where's Cookie?" So they go find Cookie, and he's at his house. And then Chimmy apologizes to Cookie, and then Cookie forgives him. And you can see that in the top right scene. It's kind of far away though. And then in the bottom scene, you can kind of see a picture of like another perspective of the ride. And in the end scene, you can basically just see that they all are friends at the end, and they're all happy. So project lessons. So my setbacks of this whole project was because of, so I didn't procrastinate. I did little by little each day. However, it wasn't enough. And so I ended up having only like 1/4 of my project done at the end of the week. So I ended up having to do like 3/4 of my project the day before it was due. But triumph, I did accomplish my my project in time. And then the things that I learned is I should have planned out each day, like at the start of the week, like exactly each day what to do and what what things to do that day, that so I wouldn't have like 3/4 of my project to do on the day before it was due. So, yeah, but that is it. Thank you for listening. Any questions?
All right, nice job, Kaya. Does anybody have any questions for Kaya? Well, I'll start it off. So Kaya, that menu that you have, are you planning on making that menu at home or for other people?
I mean, possibly, if I can find a recipe, then yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any recipes? Do you have a recipe where you can find a recipe for that stuff?
I could probably just go online and find one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody have some praise to give Kaya? I thought, obviously she's my daughter, so. I mean,
well, I have a question. What was the inspiration for this project?
Well, we had to pick a country for what Westcott kind of thing, and we had to base it off of a particular country. And since I know a lot about South Korea, I picked that one particularly, and then yeah, I just based all my stuff off of that.
Okay.
Adam?
So, are you actually going to like make plans to build this or no?
Well, I built it's kind of like a diagram, and I showed that it's like it's the ride. It's out of cardboard. It's like I don't know. I showed it at the end. Yeah, that was my ride.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I thought you did a really good job describing like what your project was about and like what you came up with it for it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Britta. Anybody else? Okay, so Kaya, very well done. I really good way to start off and raise that bar for everybody else. So nicely done. All right, so the next one we have, I believe, is Adam. I think Adam is next. Adam, are you ready? Adam, are you ready?
Yeah, okay, sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Let me start sharing. Okay. Give me a sec. Okay, my project was coding jet fighters. My original idea was to use JavaScript to code it, so I asked Thomas for some software. He suggested instead that I should use Scratch. So Scratch is an online coding program that uses block code that you string into strings of code that can make projects such as games and stories. My problems. My problems included projectiles and points. Projectiles were one of my problems because they wouldn't react sometimes. And so I thought I should use a sprite for it, which also just moves across the screen and reacts with other things. But with that came my other problem, points. Points were a problem because there are universal variables and single sprite variables. The universal variables were supposed to be for all the sprites, so I didn't think that would work originally. But it turned out that single sprite variables didn't work. So I used universal variables. What I would do different, breaking code. What I mean by that is I would sometimes just try to fix a huge problem straight on, not breaking it up into simple parts. And that would just make it way less efficient. And then also to think outside the box. I needed to think outside the box more to learn how to put new pieces together in a more organized way. Getting back on track. Distractions. I had distractions all around me while I was working, including people talking in conversations I wanted to join in on, and eating things I wanted to eat, and so on. My other problem with getting back on track was research, which turned into browsing. I would research an answer to one of my problems, which would turn into browsing by me just clicking something, then it would lead to something else, which would lead to something else until I was completely off topic. What I learned. I learned how to use block code. It's fun and simple, and you should try to get a Scratch account to make your own project. Here is my project. Let me go out of screen sharing and then I'll go back for a sec. Okay. So this is my game. Use the arrow keys to control the black jet, and then WASD to control the white jet. And then the down arrow to shoot a bullet. And once you get to 10 points, then there's a screen showing that the black jet or the white jet won. And then, thanks.
All right. Nice job, Adam.
Thank you.
All right, does anybody have any questions for Adam? Thomas?
Adam, that was awesome. I was wondering, did you run into anything, was there anything you ran into while you were working on the coding that was a particularly challenging problem or a particularly challenging piece of code that you had to find a solution to? And how did you find a solution to it?
So my problem was the points. You actually helped me with that some, and it was very difficult problem.
That's awesome. Thanks, Adam.
Adam, can I ask you a question? What was your original motivation? Why did you choose to do this as your Genius Hour project?
I was brainstorming with Sam and Thatcher, and they were going to do coding as well, and I thought I would like to do something that was coding too.
Okay. Did you have a little bit more trouble because of distance learning?
No, it wasn't really much trouble because it was just online.
Okay, so distance learning didn't affect you at all?
Yeah, and Thomas also helped me through Teams.
Oh, good. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions for Adam? Does anybody have any praise for Adam?
I think that was a really cool project, and it seems like you did a really good job on it, so that's cool.
Thank you.
And I want to jump in, Adam. I was really impressed by how quickly you picked up coding and how well you were able to adapt to a lot of really challenging situations with the code. Like that was a pretty complex project with a lot of moving pieces that had to be fixed. And I think you really showed that you've got a great aptitude for coding, and I'd encourage you to keep going with it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? All right. Well, thank you, Adam. Nicely done. Good job.
Thank you.
All right. So the next person we have is Riley. So Riley, go ahead and get set up and go on board.
My project was creating a student-run debate club. What I learned from this is to be more in control. It was kind of hard at first because since I started out with just teaching 5th graders about debate, it was harder because they're like normally my classmates and usually I'm not the teacher. I learned that things will and can go wrong, or can and will go wrong, because we had a lot of setbacks, especially distance learning, because for the first couple weeks we couldn't do anything because we hadn't figured out how to use Zoom yet. And I had to compromise a lot of stuff when most people couldn't do the days that I needed them to. We had to agree on a different date. How I will continue my project for next year, I'm going to take the step that I wanted to take this year, but distance learning got in the way of making it an after-school club. I'm going to make it my next Genius Hour project, and I will be easy because I can just do it after school for middle school. What challenged me was having to use Zoom because we usually wouldn't be able to, we're not allowed to do like face-to-face video chatting without teachers until 7th grade. So it was a big step. Not being in person, kind of the same thing, but not being able to like help people one-on-one. Being taken seriously because I'm normally their classmate, not their teacher. My original plan was to create a student-run debate club by starting with teaching 5th graders for their first break and lunch on Wednesdays. And then as people dropped out, creating an after-school club and having them lead with me, the 3rd and 4th graders. And so it would be student-run. We would have used the 5th grade HP room, but next year will probably be different because I'm not in that class anymore. But we ended up not being able to do after school because we only had one meeting in class. We only got, what I accomplished was starting the club, which took a lot of planning and a lot of meetings with Kathy. Our first debate was homework or no homework, and we had a Zoom session where we got ideas for next debate, but that debate we don't have time to, we can't do it because there's not enough time left in the school year. But it was going to be our video games good or bad for you. Why I chose this project was because I found that I loved debate club after we did 2 of them in class. I wanted a challenge for this one, and clubs, according to Joey and Liam, who did one for their first Genius Hour, they were fun to create. I would have, if I could do something differently, I would have had the meetings in person. I would have been more in control and also less serious. And that's it.
All right, good job, Riley. Does anybody have any questions for Riley? So Riley, on your first debate, you talked about no homework versus homework.
Yes.
So were there judges, or how did that go? I mean, were there, did people have to get to decide which side they wanted to choose?
Yeah.
Or did they have to just flip a coin and then you just had to go for one side? How did you do that?
They got to choose, and it was, I judged it, so that was one problem that I didn't like because I didn't get to actually debate, but it was fun to get to decide.
That's fun. That's cool. How did you award a win? Did you pick a winner? Did one side win?
Yeah,
or
homework won.
Homework won?
Yep.
Oh wow. Well, that's good. All right, Adam, you have a question.
What topics would you do in the future, and when will it be?
I'm hoping to do it next year on Wednesdays again, and I'm letting the people choose the topics, and I have a bowl in my house that I call the bowl of decisions and used to pick cards out of it, pick index cards out of it.
Cool.
Does other people have questions or praise? So I'm hoping, we can at least give some kind of part of the discussion, just maybe once or twice. I mean, for some of you guys. I would say, Riley, debate is something that I think I underestimate a little bit. It's one of those things. I didn't participate when I was younger, but I hear a lot about it, and sometimes I wonder, that sounds like a lot of fun. So I know with you in the middle school next year, I'm really looking forward to seeing how you progress with that. And don't be surprised if I pop my head in there too and want to take a part of it, because I think that's really neat. What you're doing.
Thank you.
Any last second praise or questions? Okay. All right. Thank you, Riley. All right. Next one is Serena. You're up. Writing a novel. Serena.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Serena,
Hi.
and I made Genius Hour on writing a novel, mentioned before.
Okay.
So, my Genius Hour by me. My Genius Hour, so I chose to begin writing a book. I really wanted to do this because I like reading a lot, love reading. It's always been something I've done all the time, gotten in trouble for it as well. I really wanted to create a world that can fit in such a small space that people who, like me, read as an escape can just go to and feel safe and kind of tune out the world, especially with all the crazy stuff that's going on right now. So I'm still working on it. It's far from finished. It's fantasy because dragon. I have about 9 chapters done in it, and I really want to finish it and publish it, hopefully by the end of high school. I came up with the idea for the story right before Christmas vacation, and I have most of the plot mapped out, and I'm trying to connect it. I'm trying to get people to read a couple of chapters, maybe edit it, but the people who haven't been that helpful. So I knew it was going to be really hard to write a book, but I wasn't expecting it to be this hard. I have to deal with plot holes almost on a daily basis. There's no way for me to connect different aspects of the plot. No volunteers for editing, and I keep wanting to change chapters after I've already polished them and been like, nope, this is done. But then I was like, oh, I should change that, shouldn't I? And then I can't, because I shouldn't. Anyway, the point of my book, the reason for writing it has already been said, but I want to teach people acceptance and things like that by writing about it and writing with a diverse cast of characters and making it seem normal. Like, just that there's no reason to not write about it, just making it seem like a basic thing. So, acceptance, to accept those who are different than you. Compassion, to care about others in their time of need, regardless of who they are or whether you know them. And to always hunt for the truth. So, the name of the book is Raining Dawn. There's a prophecy. And in case none of you know, shuck is a term from Maze Runner. So, and then there's a search for truth, learning how to harness power, yours as an individual, and magic powers, because it's a fantasy book, and becoming independent. So, I can read an excerpt now, if you guys want to hear something. Okay. Chapter 2. The void is gray. Nothing is near and nothing is far. All I know is the pain. It slices and dices through me as I wander the void. I'm starting with chapter 2, so you guys will be more interested in knowing what the heck led up to this. Just so you know. Starlight, is that you? I hear a voice say. Moonbeam, come to us. We need to talk to you. Keep in mind I'm an 8th grader, so this isn't that good. As tempted as I am to ignore the voices, the pain goes away when they speak. So I follow them. There's something so familiar about them, something soft and comforting, like memories from birthdays or festivals as a child. Except those were never happy memories, were they? Because I was always missing something, some crucial part of me. You found us. Welcome home, the first voice says. I look at its source and immediately burst into tears as I recognize the face from the portrait hanging on the wall. Dad, I cry, running to him as he opens his arm for a hug. Hello, Moonbeam, Dad says, opening his arms for a hug. How about a hug for your mother? An unfamiliar woman says, holding out her arms. All I know of my parents' story is what I've been told. Mother, you tried to kill me. And father. How is that something a mother would do? I say, facing her. Kill you? What are you? Oh, she says, realizing something I had no idea about. Moonbeam, what did your grandparents tell you? Dad said, gently turning me to face him. They said she bewitched and kidnapped you. When you got away, she tried to get you back and killed the both of us. I say, my voice trembling with tears. Moonbeam, I think you should hear our story. Really hear it, Dad says. Cam, will you tell our daughter our tale? Should I stop? Time limit?
No, you're
Anything?
fine.
Okay. Of course, son, Kamira says as she makes her way over to us. Now then, once upon a time, a girl is Dawn Mage, a child of a white and a dark mage. Her father, Light, was an important member of the Light Mage Society and was engaged to a princess set to inherit the throne of another kingdom.
He fell in love with a dark mage elf whom his parents didn't approve of. He ran away with her before he was to be married to the princess. They stayed hidden for many years and eventually had a child. All dawn mages, which are rare due to the prejudice against dark mages, have only ever gone insane from the combination of light and dark power swirling inside them. Children of only one type of magic have only a billionth of the power possessed by dawn mages. They have been... Wow, this is really bad printing. Anyway, they have been restricting your power using the circlet, and it will not keep you any more sane than you are now. So they lied to me? I asked, my voice breaking on the word lied. I'm sorry, Moonbeam, but you can't trust them. I swear you'll learn more of the truth soon, Dad says, engulfing me in another hug. Starlight, this is the first part of our story, but you need to wake up now. Chimera. No. Mother says sadly. Will I ever see you again? I ask tearfully. I promise you'll see us very soon, Dad says. Cam, let's give our daughter a hug before she wakes. All right, I love you, my Starlight, Mother says, coming over. For a moment, my heart beats with happiness. This is all I ever wanted. To be with my parents, to be loved, and to be with those who don't shy away from me as if I am an enigma. Be careful, my Moonbeam, Dad says. Be brave, Starlight, Mom says. And remember, we love you and we'll see you soon, they say together. So that's like the first half of chapter 2.
What were some of the things that you learned? Or what do you think the most important thing you learned from writing this novel?
I learned that I really need to stick with the deadlines I created for myself and not stall.
Did coming up with the story, was that very difficult, or?
Not really.
Yeah. But yeah, sticking to a schedule. Not easy. Especially, so with distance learning, did you have to pivot a little bit about how you were doing this? Yeah?
Yeah, I did a little bit.
Does anybody have any questions or praise for Serena? Adam.
I like how there's the story plot is nice. I like how there's a lot of detail.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Oliver again. Oliver. Sorry.
Okay.
Oliver.
So, by the end of high school, and you finish the novel, say it does, they don't accept it first. What do you think you'll do?
I don't know. I'm right now just kind of trying to finish writing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to be an author when you get older?
I don't know for sure. I just know that I enjoy writing and this sounded fun.
Okay.
I'd like to actually finish one of the things I start writing at some point. Because I've got about 5 books going on right now.
Yeah.
And
Get one of them
I
done.
needed to
Shiny new idea syndrome.
I know, it's like, just, I'm starting this, but this
Right.
idea.
Anybody else have any other questions? All right, nicely done, Serena. All right, next one is Oliver. Oliver, you are up.
All right. Let me share my screen. Okay. This is my project, Computer Basics. So, about a year ago, my aunt and uncle visited my house. My uncle, Randy, here, was building an 8-bit computer. I had no idea what that was. It's this. He said he was half finished. There were wires everywhere connecting little holes and rectangles of plastic. And as you might guess, I had a lot of questions, didn't know where to start. When he originally said computer, I'm like, oh yeah, a computer. I want to see what it looks like. And then he shows me, like, okay. And he showed me, I was like, okay, sure, that's a computer. Okay. And then after some explaining, he told me it was all made of circuits. And I was saying, how is that possible? how do you get from the simple circuit of a battery to a light bulb to a computer? Well, it is actually possible. I mean, there are circuits with chips, circuits in chips. Pretty much everything that has to do with circuits is in a computer. So when I was planning this, I had gone over about a year's worth of visits with my uncle, and I thought, yeah, I think I can get maybe a module done every 2 weeks. I mean, it doesn't look that hard. I mean, I think I could probably learn it. No, that did not happen. In fact, I only got the clock module done, plus a little bit more, for 2 reasons. 1, I bit off more than I could chew, and 2, I had procrastinated a lot. But not only did I learn quite a bit about computers in general, but I also learned a good way to efficiently tackle large amounts of information. On the technical side, I first learned how complicated the simple circuit can get. So this is a circuit with a switch that goes to a light from a battery. If you close the switch, current will flow through, the light will turn on. Now there are things called gates with 2 inputs. I can show you what that is. So AND and OR gates are the most basic, and this is an OR gate with 2 inputs or 2 switches. So if you close either one of these switches, current will flow through and the light will turn on. Both of them can also be closed and light will turn on. So this is called an OR gate because this or this could be closed. This is an AND gate with 2 inputs as well. Both of these will have to be closed for current to flow through and turn on the light. There's a simple tool used to show the relationship between the inputs and the outputs called a truth table. So if both switches are open, the light won't turn on because current isn't flowing through. If only one is closed, then current still won't. If the other one's closed but the original one is open, it still won't turn on. Only when both of them are closed will current flow through and the light will turn on. And truth tables start to get a bit more complicated when you get to circuits like this, the SR latch, set, reset. It's not really important. It's like a creative way to do this where the output of one gate goes to the input of the other. These are NAND gates or AND gates that have all their outputs inverted by an inverter. So it's just a creative way to put gates. So when building computers also have some special parts, all relating back to circuits. This is a transistor, which is an electronic switch. I've yet to use one in my computer, but I know what they do. If current flows through one of these prongs, the other 2 prongs will either connect or disconnect. This is a resistor, which resists or limits current. It can prevent LEDs from going out, which is more of an immediate concern in my computer, but I also use them to slow the charging of capacitors, which these are. These are both capacitors, which are essentially batteries that charge and discharge in your circuit. These kind of capacitors generally hold more charge than these. So when I was working on this computer, I found that I would try to learn every single bit of information and understand all of it before moving on. That would result in lack of motivation and a sudden interest to do something else, as well as it was very inefficient. So when I was reflecting, I thought I didn't do this the whole time. In fact, I did more of this, where if I didn't understand something, I would skip and then come back to it, and then hopefully would understand it a lot better with the context of the future or the information that came after the skipped concept. And so I figured in this way you could solve the puzzle using the metaphor more efficiently with less frustration, and I did. So I didn't meet my original goal for completion. In fact, this is all I completed, the clock module. But it was a major success, and it's not like I plan to stop here. I plan for this to be a long-term project and to continue throughout the summer. And this year gave me a boost in relative wisdom, so hopefully I can finish this maybe my next school year. Without this year, I probably would never really have started this at all, which I'm thankful for. I want to say thank you to my Uncle Randy for providing me with all the parts. and answering all my questions, which are quite numerous. I want to say thank you to my parents for motivating me when I was not motivated. Thank you. Any questions?
Well, Oliver, I first wanted to say you brought a smile to my face when I saw you mention truth tables. Truth tables is stuff that I talk about when I taught IB math in the high school, and we discussed truth tables and gone over some of that stuff. And so you bringing this up as part of your project, that really brought a smile to my face, showing that how you can utilize logic into really everyday life and what you're trying to do in regard to with your project. So that was very, very cool.
Thank you.
So nicely done. Anybody have any questions or praise for Oliver? Anybody? Somebody's got to have something. Kaden, Britta, Kaya, I haven't heard much from you. Can you offer anything?
I think it's really cool how much you learned about computers and stuff. And I think it's cool that you got so much inspiration from your uncle, because I don't usually get that much inspiration from seeing somebody else do something cool.
Thank you. Well, I mean, he was mostly kind of like, he did it over and over. Every time I saw him, he'd bring out his piece of paper like, all right, Oliver, do you remember how an AND gate works? So, I mean, I considered it. I'm like, yeah, I think I can do this. So.
Anybody else have anything to offer, please? Okay, nicely done, Oliver. Well done. All right, Kaden, you are next. So we have two more left, Kaden and Britta. So Kaden, are you ready?
Yep, should I share my screen now?
Yeah.
All right, so my genius time idea was to make comics, and I learned that it takes some time, and here's one of the things that I had to do over and over. I had to write dialogue, type a lot of dialogue. I had to make all of the speech bubbles coming from the characters. I was kind of lazy, and I didn't want to draw the same character over and over again, so I just did a bunch of copy and pasting. I had to draw all of the outlines for the panels because I didn't copy one from online, and I had to design all the characters. This guy right here is the main villain at the end. I also had to write the lore, the background information, so that it's more interesting. And I kind of wanted to base my story on some stuff, so I based it on space and the future. And a big part of it is this game called Destiny 2. It has a DLC called Shadowkeep. This is what the game looks like. It's a futuristic warfare game. But anyway, I partially based it on that, and some of the things that I learned is it just takes a lot of time. And that's the end of my PowerPoint, but I was going to read a little bit of my comic. Okay, here we are. I'm going to go back to the beginning. Okay, here we are. So I'll just read a little bit of the backstory. It is the year 2520 on Earth. Species have evolved, and many new have just popped up, but this story is not about Earth, but the moon. A huge crack tore across the moon very recently. No one knows why or how. And that is when they crawled out. They destroyed countless colonies, and we had to leave the moon altogether, except the colonies of hunters. The hunters worked to make the moon once again habitable, and rid the moon of them, and close the crack, aka the abyss.
but they just keep coming. But our character is Master Torbane, born as an Exo, a race of machines, and beginning his career as a hunter. This is the story of the hunter that will save the moon. Torbane, soon to be the greatest fighter, one of the only green Exos. The green Exos are rare. They build powerful weapons, and they have powers like no others. But they were also builders. In fact, all Exos were builders, but the greens were the best at their job. Example, when the other races on Earth were so careful that they wiped out almost every tree on Earth for more space to build, the Greens showed up once again and literally built a floating island that held only trees, oceans, and any animal habitat you can think of. There were many whispers when this green Exo was born. He was born from normal Exos. No one thought the normal Exos differed from any race. They were just builders and weapon/toolsmiths. But Greens were thought of as almost gods. They were the ones who built the cities on the moon, Mars, Titan, Mercury, Io, and Nessus. Should I stop reading now?
However you want to do it.
Okay, I'll read a little bit more.
Okay.
So, this is him first waking up. So he's saying, "Who are you? What do you want?" And the machine answers, "Sir, who am I? Who am I? Sir, you have to be kidding me. You built me. I'm your ghost." What? I don't remember any... Stop talking. You're wasting air. I know you're a robot, but this poisonous air will mess with your systems. Materializing. I can't see very well in this. Just be happy you're not dying today. The rest of the hunters are waiting for us. Let's go. Transmatting. What was it? Ghost? Yes. Where are we? Why, the HAHQ, of course. What's the HAHQ? The Hunters Association headquarters, of course. Well, can you stop talking to me like an idiot? I don't remember anything, and I don't know why. Oh, terribly sorry, sir. I forgot to tell you. I brought you back from being dead. You were originally a gunsmith, but you were swarmed by Thrall, and they ripped up your wires and important components. I guess I have been rude. Terribly sorry, sir. Thrall? I'll tell you later. Okay. This thing's getting so bad, I'm literally blind. I can't see. I just got news. Too many hype here. The HA fled and relocated. I will have to, I know this sounds weird, vaporize you. Then you will be transported into the internet to converse with their ghosts. And I will get you a better helmet while we're at it. Don't worry, you will get back into your body afterward. Alright, so this is them on the internet speaking. So, hello. They all answer, hi. One of them says he thinks that they're being watched, so they all agree, and they use lasers to vaporize all of the cameras. She invited me to this Hunters Guild. What exactly is the guild? The guild is 8 hours of explaining later. So you could have just said there is a crack in the moon, and monsters are crawling out, and we need to exterminate them. Yeah, sorry. What happened? Oh, nothing to worry about. Just hype stun guns, though they are a little bit more effective on ghosts than on humans because all of their compartments are split up. So this happens, and then they rematerialize. Best leave ghost communication. So he spits the hunter back out. Sir, we need to get out of here. Why is that? Over there, somehow the Hive has already constructed a super base. Incoming Strider Scout. Quick, cloak. And that's all that I'm going to read for now. That is the Strider.
So that's cool. Are you gonna illustrate? Are you gonna have like pictures to show this in the future, or is this just gonna be more of a story? Like with comic books, you know, like a lot of times they like have like pictures and show who's saying what and all that kind of stuff, or is it just gonna be more of a just story like you're doing?
I'm not really sure.
Do you have a picture in your head, like what these creatures look like and stuff?
Yeah, this is the illustration of the Strider. It's one of the
Yeah.
creatures that the Thrall ride. The Thrall is the little thing riding it. I made a sketch of Thrall somewhere around here.
Okay.
I'll
It's
just
kind of
find
cool
it
to kind of
later.
see that kind of stuff too. Yeah.
But yeah, that's my comic.
Adam, do you have a question?
Oh, here is the Thrall. A
Adam, do you
terrifying
have a
creature with a blade as one of its hands.
Go ahead, Adam.
You're not sharing that screen.
Oh no, I'm not?
No.
Oh no. I'm sorry. Okay,
Yeah, everything that you were saying, we're on the original part. And that's what
okay, I'm
Adam.
sorry about that. Let me change that. Okay, sorry, I didn't realize that you couldn't.
Oh, there it is. Okay, that's why I was asking about the pictures and stuff. Okay, so at least we kind of see. Okay, that's great.
Yeah, and so the Thrall that I was talking about should be somewhere around here.
Mhm.
Hold on, let me wait for it to load in. Yeah, here it is.
Okay. Now, okay, that's why I was asking those questions about the illustrations. Okay, great.
Oh yeah, and the Strider that I had illustrated, that's it.
Thank you, Adam, for bringing that up. Adam, you have another question?
No, I just left my
Oh.
hand raised.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions? Oliver.
So do you plan to continue this in the future?
I'm not actually sure, probably.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any questions or high praise for Kaden? That's really cool. I think it's always kind of fun to kind of create something, and especially with your own imagination and stuff like that on those kind of things. I didn't do anything like that. I kind of did more like comic type. I was a big Garfield person when I was younger, and so I used to try to do some comics that were kind of like that. And I don't know. It's always kind of fun to come up with something or kind of some sort of story.
The comic didn't end up turning out exactly how I thought. I thought it was going to be different, but this is how it ended up.
Yeah, well, that's very well. All right, any last second praise or questions for Kaden? All right, so the last one up is Britta.
Okay.
The grand finale.
Here we go. So, loading. You judging the computer? Okay. So, hi, my name is Britta, and this is Mango. Not sure if you can see her, but she's really awesome. So, yeah. And for my Genius Hour project, I wanted to teach her how to talk. This project had two separate parts. One of them was practicing words with her. The other one was researching lovebirds. So first I'm going to talk about practicing words. We picked the word hello because it's a really easy word that people use a lot, like a lot. And we chose to practice every day at 4 o'clock. And so then when I was teaching her how to talk, I would repeat the word and end the lesson when she would get bored. This was something that we did daily. Through my research, I learned that there are 9 species of lovebird. Mango is a peach-faced lovebird, which is the most commonly kept as pet. type of lovebird. The peach-faced lovebird has over 100,000 combinations, opaline being the most common, which is green, yellow, and orange, which is what mango is. Lovebirds are actually native to Africa, and when they live there, they are nocturnal because they can't go out and gather grasses and stuff during the extremely hot day. My goals were to learn something about lovebirds, which I did. I wanted to spend more time with Mango because between school and swim team, I didn't have a lot of free time, and so this made it easier to spend time with her. I wanted her to learn how to talk because that would have been pretty cool, but that didn't happen. I also learned about myself that I like to get stuff done all at once. So the longer stuff goes on, the less I'll enjoy it. And the PowerPoint froze. That's great. And so I usually hate long projects by the time I'm done with them. So this was a pretty hard project for me because it lasted a whole year. So I'm not going to continue it next year, but I feel like if I did continue it, then Mango probably would learn to talk. And thank you for listening. Any questions?
So did you get her to say some words? You didn't get her to say some words?
No, she didn't learn how to say any words, but we got like kind of close-ish, I guess.
How did you try to get her to talk?
So you pick the word and you pick a time to keep it consistent. So then she'll learn that we're gonna do this at this time. And then every day at 4 o'clock, I would repeat the word hello to her until she got bored and started flying around and chewing on other stuff. Then I would give her a treat and play with her because that meant the lesson was over. But usually it takes a longer time than just a school year to get them to learn to talk. And Mango is also a little bit older than most birds are when they learn to talk, so that probably could have been a factor in why she didn't learn how to talk.
Yeah, I don't want to get into, it makes me think about what humans are. I know birds and humans have different brains, but I do know, studying the human, they would talk about how young kids learn oh my gosh, I want to say from 2 to 5 years old, especially. I think it's kids that age will learn 100 words a day or something like that. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Yeah, and it's during that period is when you learn most of your vocab, and then it starts to, not to say it goes down, but it levels off a little bit when you go into your age. And then as you get older, then it goes down a little bit about how many new words you learn. But yeah, the younger, I would agree that probably is the best time to learn language. That's why it's awesome that you guys are learning Spanish right now, because you guys are absorbing so much because of the way your brain works. So very cool. Adam, you have a question?
What are the other species of lovebirds?
The other species of lovebirds are peach-faced lovebird is the most common, but there's the yellow-collared lovebird, the Fisher's lovebird, the Lillian's lovebird, black-cheeked lovebird, the gray-headed lovebird, the black-winged lovebird, the red-headed lovebird, and the black-collared lovebird. And I'm pretty sure that the Fisher's lovebird is the one with the red beak, and that the black-collared lovebird is the one that has to stay in Africa because it only eats native grasses. But I'm not positive on that.
Cool.
Does anybody else have any questions or high praise for Britta? Britta, have you ever met Cassidy in the 8th grade? I don't know if you.
Yeah, she was actually my mentor for this project.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because every time I see her, she has a bird with her, and so I was like, it's too bad you're not in the middle school right now. You know, well, actually, you are in the middle school, but I'm surprised. It's too bad you're not in the 8th grade, I should say, in 8th grade with her. Yeah, that's cool. Does anybody else have any high praise or questions? Do you know if Cassidy got her bird to talk?
No, I did not know that.
Oh, I don't know. No, I don't know if she has either. I was wondering if you ever, yeah. All right. Well, nicely done, Britta. Good job. Hopefully you'll get him to talk. You know, and if he does, let me know. I would love to. That'd be cool. That'd be awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, I just want to say I really enjoyed, you know, learning about what you guys have been working on this year. Obviously, there's lots of different topics that you guys all choose and stuff like that. You know, the beautiful thing about, you know, Genius Hour is basically picking something that you're kind of interested in. And I can clearly see the different variety of interests that you all have. And I think that's awesome. That's awesome. And whether you can continue this into the future or not, it's a great way to kind of devote a little more energy into something that you're kind of curious about. And I think that's what this is all about. And the wonderful thing for me is to see you guys in a different setting. I mean, obviously, you know, most of you all have, you know, as a math student, but to see you all in different elements of what you guys are curious about and what your interests are and what your, you know, your learning styles and stuff, I think that's very, very cool. And I do hope that it's something that you continue to do. You always want to continue your interests and your passions to whatever you do in life. That'll make you a lot more happier for sure. Instead of just doing something because you have to do it just to get a paycheck. You know, it's always cool to go into something that you're interested in, and it definitely makes a life a lot more fun, for sure. Does anybody else have any final thoughts or questions or praise for anybody? Okay, well, Adam, go for it.
Everybody did a great job, had great presentations, and they were all very detailed.
Thank you, Adam. All right, so that's all I have for today. Thank you all for coming, and thank you all for being our guests as well. And you guys all have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.